Hey y'all, it's Siobhan Muir and Mr. SM, and today we are making Lángos. Lángos is a Hungarian dish that is basically Hungarian fry bread. If you know what fry bread is from the Navajo Nation, and if you know what, I was trying to think of, there's a whole bunch of folks, like, think about beignets. They're kind of like beignets, except for that Lángos is more savory than sweet. You're dealing with fried bread, and then you smother them with salt, sour cream, and garlic. So they're like eating fry bread on the savory side instead of the sweet side. Most fry breads are heavy with sugar, and then you add all sorts of other things like jam and whipping cream
or butter, or you can even throw some parsley and basil and stuff just for flavor.
On his. Don't do it on the Navajo fry bread, because then people are like, you're adding basil and parsley on sugar bread?
But I've had Navajo fry bread with sour cream.
Right.
So,
you can. It's basically every culture has a fry bread of one kind or another. This is the Hungarian version. Now we are doing two kinds of fry bread. We are doing gluten-free, which is we made basically a pizza dough, gluten-free, and then we're using white bread that is frozen. You can find it at Walmart
or any place.
It's just frozen bread. You let it defrost, you cut it into pieces, and you fry it. That's basically, you just need bread dough of any kind. We have gluten-free, and then you fry it up, and then you add the garlic and the sour cream.
And to save Siobhan any headache and frustration, we decided rather than make two bits of raw dough, we'll just grab a loaf of white bread that's in frozen form. So
yeah, because it's like, well, there's the dough, cut it up in pieces, call it good. So that's pretty much it. He is going to show you how to kind of form it and kind of some of the preparation. One of the things you are going to want to do, though, if you get the frozen bread, is you're going to put it in a container and you're going to put oil all over it, because you have to let it expand and rise a little bit, but you don't want it to form a crust. You don't want it to dry out.
And that is something, Siobhan, I would say for any of this. If you made straight up fresh dough or even use the frozen, you do need oil in a pan to allow it to not dry out. So you're going to put enough oil on it and flip it every so often so that it doesn't form a crust. But other than that, that's about it. So the oil is heating up in a pan, and you can use any oil you want. So I'm just using a vegetable oil to fry it up in. And so while this is still absorbing some, I'm gonna just go with white bread.
And you can see the slight difference. This is the gluten-free and this is the store-bought white bread. So there's a little bit of difference.
What you're gonna end up doing is you just take the bread, put it on a cutting board, and you're just gonna cut slices. And the regular bread will spread a lot easier than the gluten-free. So at the end of it, what's going to end up happening is once the oil's warmed up enough, we're just going to, with the oil that's in the container as well, you're just going to want to massage out the dough so that it gets pretty thin. Now, with Lángos, one of the things that I've learned is you want it to be really, really thin. So you just keep pulling it out or stretching it until it gets pretty thin, and you can start seeing your fingers a little bit through it. And once that's done, the oil is probably not quite ready yet, so I'm going to just throw the first one in and just use that as my guide for the temperature and for it to cook. So
this can make anywhere from 10 Lángos, and if you have the gluten-free, probably about the same, maybe even a little more. But the idea is you're going to you can feed quite a few people with just one loaf of bread.
And a lot of it this is mostly a side. Because, you can eat this as a straight up meal by itself, but it's just only bread.
Yeah, it's bread, sour cream, garlic, and salt. That's it. So if you're looking for a balanced meal, this is not it. But it is tasty, and it works as a pretty nice snack.
Yeah, it's a good hearty, like, wintertime meal. Warms up the house quite a bit, and then you have...
And it's tasty, and
yeah.
you know, if you love bread.
So you just put it in and let it go.
Oh yeah.
You flip it so that it browns a little bit.
And it's kind of a constant thing. Like, while it's cooking, you're working on the next piece.
And I always put it in with the little bit of oil that's in the container, just to keep it soft. The one thing that will end up happening is when you cut through the bread, doesn't matter if it's regular white bread or if it's the gluten-free, the core will be drier, and if you're not careful, it's real easy to pull and tear. So with that, it's not really all that complex. And I will just do this for this loaf and then split out to the next. And so you just wait till it browns a little bit, and then once it gets to a nice golden brown color on both sides, it's done. Literally, that is it. And so I guess we'll return when we get to the gluten-free. Yeah.
Yeah. You saw how easy it was with the regular bread. It's so elastic and so beautiful. Gluten-free is not like that. Gluten-free takes manipulation and efforts. Now, had we chosen a different dough, like doing the white bread dough instead of pizza dough, it might have been slightly different, maybe a little more elastic, but we didn't. It doesn't mean it won't work. It just means you're going to have to do it this way.
Thank you.
Oop.
Well, I'll just do it as 2 parts.
Do 2 parts. Yep. It just means it's not going to stay together as nicely as the regular bread. But what you can do is, and you can add more oil if you'd like, kind of squeeze it together and then flatten it yourself. Make yourself a patty, essentially, of bread. Again, it is not going to be elastic, but you can still cook it the same way. You can still, and when you cook it, when you do this, when you cook it, you will be doing about a minute aside, because when the oil gets hot enough, it cooks fast, and you don't want to be blackened. So again, I keep manipulating the dough. I keep moving it, and then I break it into a piece that I think is going to be about the right size, and then I just kind of flatten it. And I do it against the thing, and then I use a knife to kind of go underneath it, flip it over, and do the same. That will give you a nice kind of bread shape and size, and then when you put it in the oil, it'll cook up exactly the way you want it. And we'll show you the difference. It is going to look different, but it'll taste just as good.
And from start to finish, doesn't matter which one you're doing, the white bread or the gluten-free. If you have 8 to 10 pieces, it'll take you about 15 to 20 minutes to fry up all of it.
Look how nice they turn out, though.
Smart. Work smarter than harder.
There you go.
Okay. Well, we're on our last one.
We're on our last one.
Hey.
Yeah.
So as we can see, the gluten-free version's a little different than the regular old bread version, but at the end of the day, they're the same.
You basically get fry bread.
Yep. So traditionally, it was simply you sprinkle a little bit of salt, you put some sour cream on it, and go from there. And Siobhan got me some elephant garlic, so this will be new. I like it with fresh garlic. So I'm going to move that over there. And so I'll take the garlic clove and put some
And if you can see, rotate it, you can see it's kind of, it looks a little wetter or greasier. That's the garlic that you rubbed all the way on the bread.
because I can't have enough garlic, I put it on both sides.
I don't do it, I just do it the one side.
And then I throw a little bit of salt on it. Grab the sour cream. More sour cream. Spread the sour cream out. Okay, that's a little more than I thought I could put in. Bigger spoon than I'm used to, but that'll work. And ta-da. That's it. It's a real simple, quick little snack of a dish.
And
Yeah.
you can either put the salt underneath the sour cream or on top, whichever fits you. The garlic is best to do first, because otherwise then you don't, because you're not going to smear the garlic in the sour cream.
And if you don't have fresh garlic,
Garlic
powder works just fine.
Yeah, and that you can put on top of the sour cream.
Mm-hmm. But that's it. I mean, this is a quick and easy 15-minute little snack idea if you want, or a little, side treat and side dish.
Yeah? You can't eat it as a meal, but it's carb heavy. So just keep that in mind.
And a lot of times my mom would, or my family would have it with goulash or goulash. And it would just be the bread that goes with it. So that's it.
So that's it.
Lángos.
A little bit of Hungarian fry bread. Pretty simple, huh? Now, you can choose any recipe you want to make the gluten-free version, but basically it's white bread, fry it up, call it good. So thank you so much for joining us. Definitely ring the bell to let you know when there are new videos up. Like and comment on the video. Let us know if you tried it. Let us know what you did different. Definitely sign up also for my Patreon, because in Patreon, not only do you get the cooking videos, but you also get the extras like works in progress that haven't been edited yet, but you get them before everybody else. Or my cereal, which is a story you can't get anywhere else, just on Patreon. Pretty inexpensive, only $5 a month. So hopefully you'll sign up. But that's it. So
Well, thank you for joining us.
happy making, happy baking, happy eating, and happy reading.
Yep.